Welcome back to the SidePlate SDS2 Custom Component Tutorial Series. In this video, we will be going over a brand new tool called Grid Matching. After you have your job open in the modeling window, you will first need to run Project Setup if you haven't done this yet. There will be a link in the description for a video on that tutorial. After your project has been set up, we want to go ahead and launch our SidePlate Grid Matching tool. It's this icon that has the two side plates with the red and green grids on them. Once we click that, we're going to get another window pop up, and we'll go ahead and maximize this. So what we're looking at here is we have a green building and we have a red building. The green building represents the building from SDS2, or your detailing model. We have already filtered out all of the member sizes that don't match what we are expecting from our SidePlate XML. In this red building, it matches our analytical model that the engineers at SidePlate used to design your building. The objective of grid matching is to apply all of the connections in your SDS2 job all at the same time. We are able to achieve this by taking the red building and making it match up with the green building. So the first thing that we'll notice is that at all the joints of the building, we have these discs. We have the red discs for the engineered building and green discs for the detailing building. If we go ahead and we double click on them, we'll get this window that tells us what the connection ID, that's only for the engineered discs, and where it's located at the model. So this is A62 and the roof. And if we look here, we see that we have a B12 and the roof. Cool. So if we go up to the green discs, and we can we can rotate around the model by holding shift and center clicking and holding the mouse. So if we notice here, we have A6 grid line and we have the B1 grid line. And if we look at this here, we have 2 and A6, so we have one match. And we have a 2 and B1, so we found two matching disk pairs. So we'll want to go back down to the red building, and we're first going to click the Align Intersection buttons. We'll click the red disk. When it turns gold, that means it's been selected. Then we'll pick our second red disk. We'll then want to pick the corresponding green disks in the same order. So left, then right. There we go. So we moved the red discs and the building lines up here so we could see what all matches and what doesn't. So if we look down here in the bottom left-hand corner, we see there are two misaligned connections. So we'll go ahead and say zoom to single. We will hold down shift and center click so we can zoom around. And we can see that the detailed building has a slope that wasn't present in the analytical model. This is perfectly fine. Typically, the engineers don't design this because it's not needed. So we'll just go ahead and say click Move Misaligned. We'll click the red disk first, then the green disk. We'll look in bottom left, all connections are aligned. So we'll go ahead and click Save and say Apply Connections. So now that we're back into SDS2, we have another window popping up right here, and this is our progress window. So in the background, SDS2, as you can see, are applying our SidePlate connections to the model. And that is reporting our progress and where we're at here. This progress can take a few minutes, depending on how big your building is. So I'll see you back in just a second once the connections are all applied. Now that we're done applying connections to the model, we get this report window that pops up. So 52 out of 52 connections were applied to the model. So we can go ahead and close that. Well, before I do, in the event not all your connections apply, there will be another section to this window that tells you where at in the model the connections were not applied at. So as we can tell, we see all our SidePlate connections have been applied to our SDS2 model. Thank you for tuning in, and I hope that you have a wonderful day.